Welcome everybody. Hello, hello. You switch all my screens around. Not if they actually work. There we go. Lady Caparis here. Hello. Castle as above, so below, so within. So sorry. Oh, hang on, you've changed your name. As within, so without. There you go. Kasim. Hello. Thanks for joining. Let's get the music started. I'm going to play the Eagle radio today because I've been listening to this whole week. So it might be a bit heavy for some people. So just let me know if it's a bit out of your price range, I suppose. I don't know. Let's see. Kasim said hi. Good to see you. Hello, everyone as well. You too. Glad you could join us. And Zanka, hello, hello. Yeah, last week was just most of the weekend without electricity. There was just absolute balls up again. But we are back now. Let's check these volumes here. Right, how's everybody's 2 weeks been? Let me know what's been going on. I absolutely love this band, by the way. I actually kept meaning to see what genre they actually fall into. Oh, thank you. These are actually French musicians. Could be able to find them. Listen, I wanted to ask you about summoning goetic spirits. How do you do it? I usually just use sigil and offerings, but others say you need a circle and a triangle. So what do you do? I use a variety of different methods, to tell you the truth. What am I doing here? I'm trying to just... Oh, I was trying to turn my volume down, so it's a little bit loud in my ears. So, my favourite method is to just sit down and chant the end. I just find that works best. It's a bit like grabbing their attention and then they come and see you type of thing. I also like to go to their realm and speak to them in at their home, sort of thing. I'll do that through my astral temple. But I also like. There was one method I actually came up recently. I've actually put it on my Patreon. Well, created a kind of a small book around the whole thing as well, where I actually do a sacred space creation using Kabbalistic methods that I was taught in Practical Kabbalah. And then it's kind of layered, so you do the sacred space creation, so you set the space and you call the archangels in, or the elemental kings, we could refer to them as being those, which then connects you with the four quarters of the cosmos, right? So you've got that aspect. And then I add on the Headless One Rides, which connects you with your Holy Guardian Angel, so it adds a layer there. And then I add a planetary layer, so I kind of invoke this works very specifically with the decans, and the decans are associated with the specific planets, right? So whatever planet that is, I invoke that planetary energy. And then I actually open the Sephira that is associated with that planet. I open the gate to that using vibration of the divine name. So there's all these different layers I kind of build on and add on to it. And then I call the Deccan, and then I call the spirit. And just by calling the goetic spirit, it's a bit like you actually draw the sigil onto paper, and you kind of like repeat a little phrase, and then you breathe onto the paper, so it enlivens the paper. It makes the paper come to life, that type of thing. And then I will actually form part of the triangle inside the circle itself. So this isn't the triangle outside that you kind of like, you know, try and concentrate the spirit into. You are part of the whole journey as well, so you form part of the triangle. You form one of the points, and then you either do a scrying or you do a petition. So I do like that method. It's pretty cool when I'm feeling a bit more, you know, got a bit more time to spend on it. Yeah. But you don't have to do a circle and a triangle at all. The triangle is actually there mostly, well, a lot of people tend to think that they use the triangle to actually trap and bind the spirit into. It's not what it does at all. But what it does do is focus the energy of the spirit, so that when you're doing scrying inside the triangle, it kind of concentrates the energy, so that you can actually do the scrying easier, you know, that type of thing. So that's what you would use the triangle for anyway. But you don't have to. You know, if you ask this question of a ceremonial magician and somebody who does work Solomonic magic, they're going to tell you a very different story. They're going to tell you that it's absolutely necessary. But yeah, you know. Alright, let me go on to Castle. I've been resting and doing meditation and Qigong and Neigong lately. Awakening the inner smile, greater and lesser orbits. And the sacred sounds with the organs was my week. That's cool. Sounds like a very cool week. Alistair's here. Hello, Alistair. Where's Andrea today? Is she around? Or is she in the garden? I'm just checking out what genre this eagle is, because there's actually a lot on this particular playlist. There's a lot that sound like eagle. It's brilliant. Oh, Baroque. Oh, okay, here we go. So it includes black metal, Baroque music, breakcore, and trip hop. That's quite a combination. I was going to call it a syncretic metal, because it just brings in so many different genres. It's unbelievable. Right, it was like a quiet week. Sorry, I missed last week. I couldn't help it. Andrea's screen's cracked, but she's here. Oh no, okay. Hope you fix your phone soon, Andrea. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're both doing well. Kasim, you mentioned calling in Holy Guardian Angel and other angels. Is that necessary? No, absolutely not. It's just a method I was kind of directed towards doing and building, creating by the spirits themselves, and I found it to be quite useful. No, you don't. It's not necessary. None of this is necessary. What's necessary is what you find to work, whatever works for you. So, you know, this is why we say try as many methods as you possibly get your hands on and see which ones work for you, because what works for you might not work for other people, and that's what you should be aiming at. Try the Solomonic method. I did at the beginning because I didn't know any other way. You know, there wasn't all of these people, apart from Rufus. Where was Rufus? Opus around then? I think he was around then. It is working. But you know, it was very few and far between that you found anybody who was talking about working with the poetic spirits outside the purview of the Solomonic grimoires and the methods within them. you know, there was kind of like the exploration of Grimorium Verum, which is very different actually. I mean, that works with pacts rather than circles and triangles. So, you know, there were various different, there was an exploration of different grimoires and their methods, but people tend to stick to what was actually inside in the grimoire itself. So try it. I mean, give it a try, see if it works for you. If it does, great. I don't like it myself. I just find, you know, it just gives this idea that you're supposed to trap, bind, and threaten the spirits, and I don't like that myself. That's why it never really worked for me, because, you know, I don't like disrespecting the spirits I'm working with. Yeah, try everything. Everything. Love you more. Hello, alright? How'd you join us? Let me... Oh, as of next week, I'm only going to be doing one video a week. Just tell you what's coming up. I'm going to be, if you've got any questions or anything, just drop them in comments and I'll make like shorts. I'm going to try and do more shorts here and there, just randomly. Oh, that's January. December. Alright, so they're going to be on Wednesday as well, the videos. The first one this month is interview with Heka, Point Magic band. I love them, they're brilliant, they're great. That was very interesting. And then the movie review in December is... So, yeah, I was going to say I've already done that one, but I've recorded it and scheduled it already. It's The Witch and the Alchemist's Cookbook. Sorry, Alchemist Cookbook. Not the Alchemists. Alchemist Cookbook. Then I'm doing the first of the Living Currents series. So this is the Breath of the World, What is Energy? And then just a random inclusion talking about prayer and evocation. And then the book is The Sorcery of Solomon, which is about the 44 Solomonic Pentacles from Claviculus Solomonis by Sarah Mastros. Love the book, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's December lineup. There we go. What else? Oh, December also I'm doing a 25% discount on spells and services on my website. That's going to be from... Here we go. Got a pause here. That's going to be from the 7th of December until it was the first week of January. So we're going to do a whole month. So if you do want to hire me for something, it's on my website. Go and have a look through. There's a whole lot of different types of spells and services there. Pacts, healing, consultations, spells for love, business, money, protection, cord cutting, everything. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll add it. Right. I had a Mordecai yesterday while eating dinner. My grandmother and mother recalled esoteric adventures from childhood and adulthood. Nice. I didn't know I had such a dark family. Ghost corpses and visitations from afterlife. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice when you find out, especially with grandparents. I mean, grandparents have so many fantastic, amazing stories to tell. You know, it's worth sitting down with old people and picking their brains. It really is. Yeah, it's going to be a quiet day today. If you got any questions, just drop them in the chat. we'll chat and we'll talk about them. The song slaps harder than my dad's phone. Most of these songs in this playlist are like this. They're brilliant. I love them. There's also, I did hear it the other. Oh yes, Clowncore is on here as well. Oh, I love it. Brilliant. Oh, the other thing, just in case, I'm sure I mentioned it here last time we were on, but just in case anybody didn't hear, on my Patreon on the $5 tier, the journal tier, and upwards, I started that new series with the Solomonic Pentacles. Yes, I do remember talking about it last time we were here, because somebody was asking, kind of like brought up why they're called pentacles. Don't know actually. Bit of a mystery. But yeah, if anybody wants to get into that, that's going to be going on for another few months actually. What Castle's music puts me to sleep. It was as within, so without. Actually mentioned the other day that it actually kind of massages your brain. Love it. But I've got to say, Igor is one of my absolute favourite bands. It really is. This next one is Igor, Nervous Waltz. It's just so, I don't know, just something about them that's amazing. Sorry, coming back to Kasim. Yeah, your question about different ways to work with the Goetic spirit. Another method that I really enjoy doing, and I do this more on a constant basis because it builds a relationship, is the creation of a spirit box. This is actually spoken about in Rufus Opus's book, which is now out of print. What is the name of the book? And it's so pretty simple. Hang on, I'll find it for you now. Oh, the Modern Goetic Grimoire, that was it. You can still find it online here and there, but it is out of print now. But it's excellent. So he talks about creation of a spirit box using Boon, and I've made my own little Boon box, which is what I talk about on Patreon. And it's just one of my favourite methods because you create this box which is dedicated to the spirit itself, and you can put its sigil on. Rufus Opus actually does have a video. I'll find it and put it up in the chat. I'll find it again. Where he actually shows, sort of talks about it and shows what he does. He takes like a metal copper disc, puts the sigil on, puts that inside, and does all these particular rituals. I don't do it exactly the same. My method's a little bit different. Mine's just very much used as like a fetish actually, where you can draw the sigil inside or outside the box, but then you put offerings inside. And what I do also, I write, each month I do a new one. I write what I want for the month, sort of like a petition paper, and then I'll fold that up and put it in the box, and I'll take the old one out and burn that as a sort of a votive offering. But you can once a week, you can light a candle on the box, you can open up the box and kind of add some more offerings and stuff in it. It's good to keep the box kind of, don't keep it closed and sealed all the time because you want energy to flow and move, but you basically invite the spirit to connect to the box, connect its energy to the box, and then work with it that way. Absolutely one of my favourite methods. Let me find this video quickly, and I'll get to all the other stuff. Oh, here we go. I want the link. What's that? Okay, let me just put the link in the chat now. Get rid of all this rubbish. Yeah, I don't know what that is. More tiny. Yeah, that to take you to the video. I like to. Yeah. Alright, Sim. So I've been doing research into Connolly. She's very interesting. What do you think about her work? I think it's great, I really do. And I did for the whole thing. I mean, she's the one who came along with the term demonolatry. Within 30 years ago now. You know, before then, as I said, it was just this. The methods we were working with were Solomonic methods, straight from the grimoires, or the spirit box method, like creating a fetish or something like that. You know, those were kind of like really the only ones I know of, anyway. And then Connolly came along with all this different stuff, and it was eye-opening. Came along with this word of demonolatry, and kind of, you know, gave it a different perspective for a lot of people. So I really appreciate what she did. I think it's great. I know a lot of people have bad things to say about her. It's their problem. Her stuff, let's put it this way, what she writes about and what she does works. That's the main thing. Does it work? It works. So, as above, sorry, you need to change your name back to as above, so below. I don't know how helpful this is, but I really enjoy the path working methods from Corwin Hargrove. I think yeah, it's actually really good, and also the same type of thing that Corwin Hargrove works with the Delicious Spirits. The same type of thing is found in Lucifer and the Hidden Demons by Theodore Rose. That works with the spirits or the demons from Abramelin. Same type of thing, using those actual path workings. They're really good. I enjoy them. I enjoy doing them. They don't work 100% of the time, but I do find them very, very useful. Bavimorka, during the night shift at the hospital, the ghosts of deceased patients would come to Grandma and say that they had died in the shower, for example. Grandma would go check to find the bodies. That's handy. It's quite handy. Yeah. But I think a lot of people who work in hospitals probably find, well, especially nurses, I think, because they care so much. They often find that they have similar experiences. That's why they do it, actually. The Truth, hello there. Do you have any tips for entering into more serious transformations with spirits? I work with multiple Vertic Kings, and I do feel like I am transforming, but I want to go even deeper. Archspire is a very good band. I'll put it on my list and listen to them later. So what are you referring to exactly when you're talking about transformation? It kind of revolve around a lot of different things. It could be mental transformation, it could be transformation of the ego, it could be transformation of the body, the energy body, a lot of different types of transformations. But generally, I mean, speaking generally in that that regard, it's about time. You find yourself, you get to a particular level, particular stage, and you need to go deeper. You ask to go deeper and talk to the king, talk to the Goetic spirits, ask them what's the next step, and who you should be working with to get to that next step. It's really what it boils down to at the end of the day. So you just did say there's transformation related to healing and more so social interactions at the current moment. Yeah, that's also going to, especially the healing aspect, that's going to take some time, because healing especially you don't want to do instantly. It's a process that you need to go through, and that process needs to, I wouldn't say go slow, but take its own time, its own course. If you go too quickly, you just end up with horrible stuff, psychosis and everything else. You know, it just takes you in a direction you really didn't want to go to begin with. So just be patient. I know a lot of people hate that word, patience, but it's what it's all about. Roop, hello Roop. Have you worked with different types of Reiki? If you have, what is your view on that? If some of them are better or more beneficial than others? I haven't. I was attuned to Usui traditional and stuck with it, and had no desire to actually go with any others. The problem you find nowadays is there's like people coming up with these fantastical things. What was the one the other day? Let's put using here. It was demonic, infernal, something Reiki. I mean, come on, give me a break. You know, it's just people just inventing all this shit to try and sound a bit more edgy than the next person, and it really is a load of bullshit. But you have, I can't even remember the names of the different, Karuna, I think was one of them back in the day. Also there was Inner Flame or Blue Flame or something like that. Some of them get really insanely expensive, especially that guy who was one of the original initiates of the woman that came over from Japan, who was originally initiated by Usui. Yeah, so there's a lot of them. Mine works. I don't have any need to do anything else. Do any of them work better than any others? I don't think so. No. I think it all boils down to the practitioner themselves. Have they done their homework? Have they, you know, done enough to actually know what they're doing? And are they, you see, I can't even say are they able to control the healing itself, because in Reiki you don't control the healing. You are not actually doing the healing, you're just channeling the current, the Reiki current. So you can't even say that. You know, it's just, do you know how to work it? And it's an intelligent energy. So, you know, I don't think it really matters which system you are initiated into, as long as it's an actual valid system and not some rubbish, bullshit, made up crap. I mean, I've got to tell you, I saw somebody a couple of years back. They were offering it was something like 60 or 66 attunements into different systems in one weekend. Now, if you have been attuned to Reiki, proper Reiki, or you've done attunements yourself, you know that I mean, there's a lot of people even in Usui traditional that kind of like do it over a weekend, or 3 initiations. I'm like, don't do that. You do the first initiation, your body gets slammed. You go through a week or 2 of cleansing and purification. Your body just expels a lot of shit. And then you take 6 months to adjust to that energy, and then you do the second initiation. And you go through the same process, really. Take that time to adjust. If somebody is giving you 60 different initiations into 60 different Reiki systems or traditions in one weekend, they're absolute bullshit. Sorry. I don't know, it's just shit that people are coming up to. It's unbelievable. Anyway. carrying on. I hope that answered the question anyway. More Live and Improve Tone Studios. Okay. Oh, is that Corpo Menti? Okay. I wonder if you know or have read any explanations as to why a person born into a magical family gifted with spiritual sight, etc., does not experience anything like the rest of the family. I'm not sure what you're getting at there. Does not experience anything like the rest of the family. Everybody's independent, everyone's individual. They're not going to experience the same as anybody else in the family. And maybe somebody born into a magical family or gifted family skips that. You know, they are their own person. Is that what you're getting at? I'm not sure what the question was actually aimed towards. I'll get to your rest of your others just now. Let me go through. Truth said it is transformation. Oh, sorry, I read that already. Kassim, what is your opinion about the Goetic spirits being mainly pagan gods? I found connections between them and the gods of old. It's a possibility, and I know a lot of people do. Horus or Flerius is often considered to be the Egyptian god Horus. You know, Astaroth is often considered to be Astarte. I mean, I've had a conversation with Astarte in connection with that whole Astaroth Astarte thing, and it's almost like it's two different masks of the same spirit. So yeah, in some regards, I can see it. It's quite a possibility. On another, my own understanding though is that they are. This is the difficult part, because quite frankly, I think the Goetic spirits are egregores. The ones in the Ars Goetia are actually probably egregores, because, and the reason I say that is because that particular grimoire is a compilation of 3 or 4 grimoires from previous centuries. You know, people who worked, I mean, from the original Testament to Solomon. You know, different people who worked with these various spirits who came along and they created their own grimoires, and they were probably given different names. But the Ars Goetia is a compilation, and it's not. It's quite possible the original magician who wrote that particular grimoire was working with spirits that gave him or her those particular names, and they're not particularly connected with any of the previous grimoires. But as I said, the problem with the Goetia is that it was actually a compilation of previous grimoires. So there's the possibility that they are egregores. On the other hand, they are considered to be djinn, and I have my own personal understanding has been from them that they are djinn. They may not be the original gods. Some of them might be, but not all of them. In some cases, it's like, you know, humans are given names of famous people, even gods and goddesses from different traditions and paths and cultures. And that's kind of a similar thing, is they were born, they were given a name of previous pagan god from their area, region, culture, and that's the name that they're born with. And then we connect with them through ritual and speak to them as they are djinn. Very different class of djinn that you might find. There's a lot of different races or classes of djinn if you go into Arabic magic, and they get kind of scary and uncontrollable and chaotic, and they want to kill all humans and destroy the world. As I said, different classes. I find the spirits in the Ars Goetia to be a lot easier to work with and connect with, and I love them, I like them. So that's why I stick to that, and not work any kind of Arabic djinn magic itself. That's a whole different ball game. So anyway, that was a bit of a ramble. And carry on. Castle, I had a realization that Taoist has been helping me a lot. It's helped me balance my martial skills. It's helped make my magical ability sharp as obsidian glass, as an explosive, and as explosive as an atom bomb. That's cool. It's nice when you kind of tap into a current that can help you that way. It's great. The Truth of Castle, what martial arts do you train? I also train martial arts. I mainly offer it to the spirits I work with and do also enjoy it. Light Fighter Zen. Hello. Change your name. I'm good. How are you doing? Castle playing. I don't want that. Once two patients died in the hospital, the family came to collect the body and took the strangers. Then another family came to collect their relatives, but they found only the stranger's body. The spirit of the man mistakenly taken came to the grandmother to tell her that or what had happened. The grandmother was already on her way to collect his body to return it to the rightful family when they couldn't find the body of her father. Cool. Nice stories. Great stories from old people. It's about martial arts. What I mean is that you are born into a family with abilities, so you have it in your genes from your ancestors, but you are the black sheep. You don't have any active abilities. Do magical abilities transfer through genes? I'm not too sure about that. Possible, but you know, as I said, everybody's individual. You know, you are not your family. You are not anybody else in your family. You are your own unique self. So if you don't have the same abilities as the rest of your family, it's just because you are yourself. You have a different gift to give, and you just got to find out what that is. But I think we all have something to give. Richard, your internet's back. Good stuff. I was wondering where you were. Castle, that's on about martial arts again. The truth, certainly. My notice about this is that even if a goetic spirit, if they are a different aspect of a goddess, they are still unique gods in their own being, even if they come from the same source. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, even if you have a look at this from the perspective of them being egregores themselves, I believe that an egregore has sort of like an origin, and that origin is often connected to a source, a particular deity. In this regard, anyway. You can create a servitor which becomes an egregore, just because you need a particular task done. But I think in this case, at least, it's that development of particular spirits over centuries and through different cultures that probably started off with a particular archetype, a mold, and then became a particular deity, and then through different cultures, through different regions, through migrations, through centuries of interaction and everything else, became different things, and they became these egregores which connected to the original source, the original deity. It's kind of like branching off almost. Light Fighter Zen. Can you please turn down the music a little bit? It's kind of hard to hear. Okay, I will do. That's about half now. I've lost my place. Alright. Okay, just let me know if that's better. Castle, the spirit is ripped apart when... Oh, that's also about the martial arts stuff. Raise the horse of intent to get the monkey mind calm. Okay, there we go. Alright. Okay, good stuff. Right, what's next? What's next on the agenda? Should have put my fan on before we started. It's starting to get warm now. As within, so without. When would you recommend, and what method should one make a bromelin oil? Hmm. You see, I don't actually find any difference between there's three different types of bromelin oil you can actually make. What was it? The German, the French, which use the herbs themselves, and then you can do the third method, which uses the actual oils, which is what I use. And I usually use calamus when I do the oils, but I don't find any difference between any of them. And you know, people have been working with the different recipes for years, centuries, well, probably centuries. I don't know about how long, but a very, very long, very long time, and they all work. They all do what they're supposed to do. And I think one of the most important ingredients in those oils, specifically the abromelin oil, is the olive oil itself. I mean, just pure olive oil is considered to be quite sacred. It's a sacred oil. It was used in Jewish rituals all the time. So, you definitely use olive oil. Um, Olive oil, a good olive oil can keep up to 12 months before it starts going rancid. So, make small batches, um, and check after about 6 months. Just make sure it's still okay, not going rancid or anything. But yeah, I would experiment with all of them. As I said, there's three different methods. I'm gonna actually. There's a great. Oh damn it! What was the bloody name again? Oil. Try this. Yeah, there's a few different places and documents. I mean, if you actually go into Scribed, there's an abromelin oil leach method. That's the RN leach. Um, that's myrrh, calamus, cassia, and cinnamon. So that's quite a combination. Usually, I'm trying to remember, but it's usually three. Let me try and find this bloody website I was going to. There we go, alchemyworks.com. This guy's amazing, and he actually talks about all three. So let's see. Blum, 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 blum. The first is the French version because it is made according to the recipe in Mather's translation of the French manuscript of the German grimoire of the 1400s. That's 1 part myrrh, 2 parts cinnamon, half part galangal. or galangal, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, and half the total weight in the best olive oil. The second is made from the recipe in collected German manuscripts of the book. That's 1 part myrrh, 2 parts cinnamon, and half part calamus. So what you're really switching out here is the galangal or galangal with calamus, right? That's the one that gets changed. I did do some research on this years and years ago, and I actually came across a lot of people who were talking about the original recipe that is found in the Bible, in the Old Testament, was actually speaking about, I think it was the Old Testament, I don't know, anyway, the Bible, was actually speaking about the recipe, that one particular one, the calamus, as actually being cannabis, which is, as we would know nowadays, cannabis. And I did do some experiments with that. God, it was a long time ago though. I think that was when I was doing the Abramelin working itself. You probably find it on the videos I did, like right at the beginning of my channel. I'm sure I spoke about it in there. But that was quite an interesting exploration anyway. But yeah, and then the one I do is just the oils themselves instead of actually macerating the herbs. And that I use myrrh, cinnamon, and calamus, because I don't have galangal. I've got the powder, but I don't have the essential oil. So yeah, I usually use those. But anyway, carrying on. Where was I? Black Fighter Zone. For me, the ghost spirits transformed from gods to egregores, but very, very powerful ones. Much more powerful than me, so that's why I treat them like gods, but they always remind me to worship myself. Well, this is the thing, I mean, you know, as soon as the word egregore comes up, I think people get this idea that they're not powerful entities. They're fucking potent. They are gods. Most of what we talk about nowadays are egregores, you know, when we're talking about the gods and the goddesses. You know, these are the gods that were created by the gods almost. Egregores are potent. They're powerful beings. I mean, especially if they are, you know, millions and millions of people work with them. They're going to get fed. And yeah, no, I think people have this wrong idea of what an egregore is, actually, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I agree with you there. Andrea, hello, hello. Hope everyone is doing well. I've just sent Alistair to the shops. Sorry, trying to type using this broken screen. Oh goodness me. Hope you can do it all right. There you go. There we go. Okay. Right, I need to just adjust my butt in the chair. We'll play this Igor song and then we'll switch to some goth. How about that? We'll do the Bauhaus mix. There's a lot of Bauhaus. Some good ones between though. Yes, goth for you. Yes, Andrea, I know. Kasim, Saley, what do you think about blood magic? I know it's Connolly talks about it. Yeah, it's valid. I do blood magic. I think most witches do, really. Is it a necessity? I think this is a question that came up somewhere else. Do you have to do it? Do you have to give offerings of blood to the spirits? No, you don't. Oh yeah, somebody asked in the comments of one of my videos. I'm not sure if it was you, but they also said that Connolly also stated that it was a necessity, and she doesn't actually. And I do remember her making it very clear that if you are not comfortable giving blood offerings to a spirit, don't do it. There is another thing you have to bear in mind when giving blood offerings to a spirit, is that you build a relationship before you start giving blood offerings. Don't kind of call a spirit out of the blue, you've never worked with a spirit before, and give them a blood offering, because you could be attracting an astral parasite and feeding a parasite. Make sure you're working with the spirit that you want to work with first. Build a relationship over a period of time, then start giving blood. Don't give blood right up front. That's a bad thing to do. But not all spirits, and I mean, when I say spirits, I'm talking about, you know, demonology, demons, Connolly, that arena. Not all of them want blood. Some of them reject it. So, you know, it's not like you have to give blood to them all. And blood magic is a very powerful thing, because it's life force. It's your own personal life force and your own personal DNA. You're adding into spell workings and things like that. So, yeah. Yeah, Andrea said discernment first, absolutely. Light Fighter Zen, like I wouldn't want to mess with Asmodeus, so I stand when I do the invocations because that's tradition, and I flatter him, but not too much. I go straight into the offerings to exchange energies. Yeah, well, I mean, if you are flattering him, and you flatter them, you name all of their achievements, connections, if they have particular, not all of them, just some of them. I mean, if you start getting into epithets of the Greek gods and the Hindu gods and stuff like that, you'd be going on forever. But kind of like, you attract them in that manner, and you kind of flatter them, and then what you do is you then, you know, add in the, you know, this is my prayer type of thing. I actually speak about it in the later in December, that prayer and evocation video that's coming up. How to actually create a prayer or an evocation. So yeah, it's a good method. It's a good way to do it. Oh wait, we're going to do Bauhaus now. There we go. Sorry about that. Yes, Andrea, Bauhaus. There we go. Ta-da! Cass, so I did get to see the Great Lord Astaroth in a GBA, and my dreams was a wonderful experience. Only one I give blood to is Astaroth, no one else. GBA. What's a GBA? Should I put that into reference? GBA. Game Boy Advance. I don't think it's that. What does GBA stand for? Game Boy Advance. No, it can't be Game Boy Advance. What is it? You're gonna have to tell me what GBA is. Grievous bodily addiction. Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of the punk band GBH, Grievous Bodily Harm. Oh, wait, let me send this link to Alchemy Works. If anybody's interested in the Melon oil. There we go. Greater Banishing Ritual. Oh, okay, there we go. Alright. It's usually the greater pentagram ritual or the greater hexagram ritual. And then you do the greater. The banishing and the invocation actually comes in there. But yeah, okay, that's fine. Got me confused there. Andrew, I'm not too good at flattery. I'm such a cynical old bird. So I say anything nice at the fact, literally. Yeah. Yeah, if you actually get into the Orphic hymns, they're great to actually kind of work with, especially if you're going to work with, well, not just the various different entities, spirits, gods and goddesses from the Greek pantheon, but the planets as well. You know, if you're going to be doing planetary work, it's great. Um, and it is that kind of method of kind of like, you know, attract their attention by naming them, and then flattering them, you know, kind of speaking about their achievements and things like that. And then right at the end, you just slam in there, peace can I have, you know, I pray for, da da da, that type of thing. Right. Um, Love these quiet moments. At least we've got music in the background. It's not totally quiet. Andrea, oh dear, I'd have to make sure that I am being authentic, or I'd seem like such an ass. Well, I guess when you like, you know, if you have reverence for the deity that you're calling, it's going to be authentic. I don't think it can be anything else, actually. Excuse me, I've had a very sleepy day, I don't know why. I slept plenty last night. Sim, so when you say building up a relationship with the spirit, do you mean you can offer blood after a few meetings and not on the first go? Let's put it in some kind of perspective. So let's say you meet a new person, the new person comes into your life, and you think they would make a pretty good friend. So, you know, you go out a few times, but maybe you're kind of a secretive person, so you don't invite them immediately to your house because you don't know them, you don't know who they are. So you go out and you go to a coffee shop and you sit down and you talk to them and you get to know them, and you do this several times. And then when you feel comfortable enough, then you invite them to your house. You know, you bring them into your personal space. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So you build a relationship, you work with them, you may say good morning to them every day. You may have a little offering or a little prayer that you say to them each morning. You may say good night to them each night. You know, you kind of build this relationship. You give them offerings. You make this connection and you strengthen that connection. You strengthen the bond through working with them, talking to them. Just sitting down, have a cup of hot chocolate with them. It's one of my favourite methods. Just grab a cup of hot chocolate, give them a cup of hot chocolate, sit down and just talk. And ask them to help you with stuff. Ask them for advice. All of this stuff. So it's building a bond and building a relationship, the same you would do with a person you've just met and you want to get to know them. And then when you feel comfortable enough to invite the person into your home, into your private personal space, in this regard, you can then offer them blood and strengthen the bond. Because when you offer them blood, that really it connects you intimately. So you don't want to connect intimately with somebody you just met, or somebody you are just going to have a fleeting relationship with them and then say cheers, have a nice day, bye bye. Don't want to talk to you anymore. So it's about relationships. It's really what it is. Andrea, ask Alistair if I say anything nice about him. It's an observation. Light Fighter Zone. If you want to be flattered, ask ChatGPT and she will flatter you all day, free of charge. Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's the dangerous part of ChatGPT. It absolutely is. Dragon, hello Dragon. Thanks for joining. Oh, Dragon, if you've got any questions, just pop them on. I'm having lots of silent moments today. Everybody's getting tired. It's the end of the year now. Now we've got more people on, and maybe I should do all my little announcements again. So first thing, if there's any spells or services on my website that you would like to hire me for, there's going to be a 25% discount from the 7th of December. I'm going to be running that for a month. It's going to be the silly season special, so grab that for them. If you want to get in on the new series I'm doing on Patreon, which is the 44 Solomonic Pentacles, get in on that, because that's I'm doing one pentacle a week. But if you I think if you get in a bit too late, it's going to have a lot to catch up on. So yeah, do that. And then as of next week, next week, I'm doing one video a week, and then I'm going to try and add more shorts, just randomly. It's going to be, the videos are coming out on Wednesdays. So yeah, that's changes on my channel. And obviously we're going to do this every Sunday. It's not going to change. Right. Dragon, how does one overcome their fear or obsession with death? Oh god. That's a whole psychological journey, that is. Bloody hell. That's not something you can really answer over this kind of a platform. You've also got to try and figure out what the fear of death is. And I mean, you might think, oh, it's just death itself. Usually not, no. It could be that you don't want to leave people behind. It could be that you haven't resolved issues in your life and you don't want to die yet. It could be that you just, you don't want to go through the pain. But usually it's a lot deeper than what those surface level excuses, those things are that we kind of like think about immediately. You really, really have to examine what your fear of death is. And obsessions can be a lot different to fear. I mean, some people have an obsession of death, which is a love of death. So yeah, but I guess you're talking about obsession, as in just totally afraid of death the whole time. But yeah, no, that's the whole journey. That's something. What fear is what comes after death. Oh. Well, that's an exploration of your personal worldview. So that you have to examine. Just take as many different worldviews from different people as you possibly can and start examining them and make your own mind up of what you think happens after death. I'm not entirely sure myself. I have ideas, I have my own worldview, but you know, I had a near-death experience and I just went into a complete and utter void. It was a nothingness. Um, and I wasn't allowed to step beyond that, so I don't really know what comes after that. From an experiential perspective anyway. So it all really boils down to worldview, what you believe is going to happen. And that becomes a very, very personal thing. So start questioning, start examining, and everything else. Castle been focusing on Chinese and ancient mythology, art of letting go. Cool. Andrea made my skin crawl to ChatGPT. It's like having the computer gaslighting me. Oh god, that's terrible. Castle, the monkey mind makes you fear it. She's nothing to fear. I have particular fears about death myself, and I've already been through it, half of it anyway, at least once. But yeah, no, I think as also, maybe Andrea can also back me up here. I don't know if it's just me, but you start getting to a certain age where you are thinking about your mortality a lot more, because you know it's right around the corner, and it gets kind of terrifying, actually. But yeah. Light fighters, and for me, working with Shiva, specifically Kalabhairava. Oops, let's get all them. Then experimenting shadow work and ancestor work can also help. Oh yes, ancestor work, yes. That's actually a really, really good. Shadow work, definitely. It's something, you know, it's about your fears and everything else. It's about those things you don't want to face, so definitely shadow work, but ancestor work, that's going to help you a lot. Go and talk to your ancestors, because they've been through the experience. I would start with ancestor work. Yeah, absolutely. Good suggestion. Divs is here. Hello, Divs. Castle, there is no fear. Dragon, OCD, thoughts and fears. Yep, I know what that's like, don't worry. Yep, the mind just goes and goes and goes. It has its own little traction. Yep, I know. Castle accepted. You make it sound so easy. Oh god, yeah, okay. Andrea, um, I find much of the fear is that they think they'll lose themselves. Quite often is at the basis of. Oh yeah, there is that, and I think my interpretation or my idea of what happens after death doesn't help people in that regard at all, because you there's no idea of a pure soul in my context. So you definitely lose yourself. But yeah, so my idea doesn't help at all. No. Because the question is, Lee, what is this void? Since spirits exist, why do the majority of people see nothing when they die? Any thoughts? Personally, I think it's what I experienced. I mean, when I say void, what I meant was a nothingness. You become nothing, and then you step over. What happened with me is I became the nothing, and I had to fight to come back here. So I didn't do the rest of the journey type of thing. But it's a nothingness. You become a nothing. You are what you are. I mean, what we're talking about in this regard as us as physical beings, as me being Lee. This is all ego. Um, you know, it's identity, it's consciousness, everything else. But when you speak about becoming nothing, you literally are nothing. You are not a human. You don't have a name. It's all gone. And I feel, personally, I just think that's kind of like what happens after you die. You go into this nothingness stage, and this we can kind of relate in a macrocosmic, microcosmic aspect of the what I call the omnil, the all know thing. Um, you know, it's that nothing aspect or no thing aspect. It's a whole long conversation there. But anyway, yeah. So you get into this nothingness state, and then you continue with the rest of the journey, whatever that is. But I think it. Really does. I think a lot of it boils down to worldview and what you feel is going to happen after death. You know, Christians are probably going to go to heaven. I'm not going to go to heaven because I'm not a Christian. I don't believe in heaven. So therefore, it doesn't exist in my worldview. It doesn't exist in my understanding. Therefore, I'm not going to go there. You know? Is there something after that? There's actually one thing that Lobsang Rampa spoke about, which I always found really, really interesting, is that he spoke of this idea that when you die, you go to the place you think you are going to go to after death, and whatever that is, whatever your belief is, you go there. And then what happens is you kind of start to notice these anomalies and things that don't kind of fit properly, and eventually everything just breaks down. An entire creation just dissolves and disappears, and you actually then go into the actual afterlife, which is you go through he said that you go through a hall of memories where you kind of replay what happened in your life, so you can then have a better understanding of what you achieved and what you did right, what you did wrong, because it's all kind of like a school. It's like a lesson, trying to experience these things in each lifetime. And then you go through a whole process of, you know, assessment, reincarnation, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, so I don't know. All we can do is just examine everybody else's ideas of what happens. Dragon, so our expectations shape our experiences with death. Very much so. I believe so. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Castle. Yep. Light Fighters End. For me, the first thing I would do is not listen to the Archons. Well, I'm not Gnostic, so I wouldn't anyway. If I want to reincarnate back to Earth, I do it on my own accord and not being trapped by karma, but that's just me. That's your own worldview. That's perfectly acceptable. I don't think nobody has an answer. Absolutely nobody. If anybody says they have the answer and they can tell you exactly what happens after we die, they're talking bullshit. Nobody has an answer. So, Andrea, no fear here. That's good. I'm actually really, really happy for you. I am, honestly. Because it's not. I'm guessing I'll probably overcome those fears as I get older again. I've just kind of hit that stage where I'm starting to question what's going to happen to me, what's going to happen to my daughter, etc., etc. And it's every now and again it's kind of terrifying. Something I have to face. I have to deal with. So yeah. Castle, to fear her is not good. It shows your materialistic self and not embrace the transition to the spirit. It's Lee. I've died 5 times and came back. The Tao does say we go back to the void, and because we'll become one again. Yep. Okay. Worldview. Yeah. You have a Taoist worldview, which is very different to mine. So, yeah. Andrew, I'm everything and nothing, baby. That's fair, I know. Dragon, do our experiences become recorded in the soul of the world or universe, like book in a library? Yeah, I'd say so. Some people call this the Akashic. Jung called it the collective unconscious. It's a collection of everything that everybody's experienced, all knowledge of the world that has been, is, and will be. Of course, you got to remember that it's all timey-wimey stuff. It's not actually real. Everything's, can't say. words fail at this point because you can't say that everything happens in the same moment because that derive or brings it down to a moment in time, and that's not what time is. So, but anyway, yeah, time doesn't exist. Um, but so yeah, it's yeah, I do believe that. I believe everything is recorded somehow. And as I said, some people call it the Akasha. Castle, you do records, you can go to, yeah, there you go, Akashic Records. Andrea O'Hill, no way am I going to have to watch such a long and tedious life review. Horrible idea. Life Fighters then, I was there when my dad died. He basically died in my arms, and as he passed, I felt a very peaceful veil-like energy. It's hard to explain. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I actually had two very different experiences with each of my parents when they died. The second one I was kind of more prepared for because my dad died first, and I was speaking to him right up to the point when my mother died. So he kind of told me 2 weeks before it was going to happen, and yeah, so I was prepared for it. So it was a very different experience actually. But watching someone die is actually an amazing thing. How they become closer or start to shift between the worlds, and they start to see people that aren't there and speak to them and hear them, and it's quite an amazing thing actually. It really is. And I think a lot of people. There's actually a really good series, and now I've forgotten the bloody name. It's about a girl who gets cancer. Oh, Dying to Have Sex on Netflix. I'll just double check it's on Netflix. Hold on. Might have been on Disney. Hold on. Netflix. It's a brilliant series, and I actually recommend everybody watch it because it kind of like explains what happens when somebody's dying. The processes they go through, the death rattles, and all of that, and it's when somebody who's not prepared for it kind of sees something, it's quite terrifying, but they're actually not in pain. So it's actually really good to watch it. Dying Profile 6. Okay, it's not coming up on Netflix. Hold on. I'll find it. I will. Disney. While I'm doing that, where was I? Dragon, what is time and eternity? No idea. It's man-made. Let's put it that way. Andrea, linear time is an Earth experience. Yeah. I mean, reality moves in lateral time. Where am I? Andrea said Nan helped Alistair get over his very real terror of death. Oh, that's good. That's excellent. Castle, the peyote trip and sweat lodge after I came back helped me understand death and her role in my life. Good. Watch what movie? The one I'm talking about now. Dying to Have Sex, something like that. Dying for Sex. There you go. It's called Dying for Sex, and it's on Disney. But really good series. Really enjoyed it. It's fun as well. It's kind of funny, sad, everything else. Take tissues with you because you're going to cry your eyes out, that type of thing. Really, it's It's good at examination of the dying process itself. Divs, the body is just a temporary vessel for timeless soul. Yep, absolutely. It is a quiet moment. It's like people are dropping off early tonight, so we're probably not going to go a full 2 hours today. So I think people are just tired. The end of the year. Dragon, what are the spirits we interact with in shamanism? That's a very big question. Because there's a very big difference between like Hana's core shamanism and traditional shamanism. I mean, core shamanism, they don't deal with middle world spirits, whereas within traditional shamanism, it's actually mostly focused on middle world spirits, and those spirits can get, those are the kind of spirits that will kill you if you look at them wrong. They're not very easy to deal with. Something like core shamanism, harness shamanism, that's more along the lines of your ancestors, your higher beings, animal spirits, guides, that sort of thing. That's very different to traditional. Having walked exhausted by astral parasites. No, just I don't know. I had a very strange day. I went for a long walk this morning. It's probably what tired me out to begin with. But yeah, no, I don't know why I've been so tired today. It's probably just because it's Sunday. Anyway, because how do you detect astral parasites? Well, usually through feeling. How does it feel? And this is often something you kind of you have to experience. And usually, what used to happen was you would have a teacher who would call an astral parasite and say, "This is what it feels like," and then they would call a god and say, "This is what that feels like," and you kind of feel the difference. But nowadays, that doesn't happen very often. So we kind of work with spirits. We may at some stage pick up an astral parasite just randomly, and you feel the difference. There's a definite difference. It's like a sinking, sickly, horrible kind of feeling, and especially if you connect with that astral parasite, and over a period of time you start just falling in more and more and more and more into a depression. And it starts asking you to do things which you are totally against, like harming yourself, harming other people, stealing, things that are against your own morals. It will try to isolate you. Very kind of narcissistic behavior, actually. So it'll isolate you from your friends and your family. It'll create more and more and more fear and anxiety because that's what it feeds on. But that's over a period of time. That's, don't try not to get to that point, because it really has its hooks in them, and trying to get rid of it is a bit difficult. But one of the signs usually is if your friends and family start saying you've changed, there's something different, what's going on, you seem to be pulling away a lot more, that sort of thing. Listen to them. because a lot of people won't listen to them because they have this spirit friend that's doing all these things for them, you know, who loves them and everything else, because it just creates this illusion that they are the most lovable, wonderful thing in the world. It's what makes you trust them more, and they just take you down the wrong road. So yeah, but usually, I mean, right up front, it's usually this bad feeling. You just don't feel right, and if you start working with a spirit, or even if you've been working with a spirit for a while, and you kind of like go into, you know, you call the spirit, and things don't feel right. It's not the same kind of energy you used to. Then just say, okay, well, stopping this. I'll come back another day and we'll do it again. Then, because you know something wrong. You know, just end it, banish and end. Um, you know, just listen to yourself. It's really a good thing. Castle, Kasim, are you slowly getting drained? Do you have plenty of bad dreams? That's definitely some good signs. Um, feeling that's not yours. Yep, there you go. And I don't just want to know how to be safe. Yeah. What is a god? Oh my god. What is a god? A god is an entity that encompasses a particular force and power that exists within our cosmos. It's probably the easiest way I can put it. Yeah. So I'd go with that. Bobby Mordecai, idea. Is that what a god is? Is that your answer to what is a god? It's actually a good answer, to tell you the truth. Especially if you translate that into the Greek, which is idia. Can't remember the exact definition of it now, but comes in pretty close. It's kind of like spirit, ether, that type of thing. But could be possible, yeah. Dragon, and what is an astral parasite more specifically? Astral parasite actually comes in a variety of different forms. I do believe that most of the astral parasites we actually encounter are actually thought forms that other people have created, or ourselves. We create them ourselves as well. But a lot of the astral parasites we pick up because they're kind of sticky. Especially if you work with people, if you work like you know, building with a lot of people, or you spend a lot of your day kind of walking through crowds, you're going to pick up a lot of negative energy. And somebody who is extremely depressed or anxious or anything like that is going to start creating thought forms, negative thought forms. And these start to get a life of their own because they just keep getting fed, and they develop more and more depression, anxiety in the person, and which feeds them more and more, and they start to become sentient. And you can walk past somebody and pick up, it's like sticky energy that you kind of pick up, and latches onto you, and then you've got one. Other types of ancestral or astral parasites are quite often the hungry dead. There's those as well. Um, then there's just general kind of like low vibrational entities that are just hanging around all the time, created from somewhere. And as I said, usually from other people's thoughts. But I mean, there's no reason to say that they're not created by other entities, other spirits, and things like that. So yeah, it's usually where they come from. Andrea, Italy, it's just like a narcissistic relationship. It is. It's usually the best way to explain it, except for the energy drainage. I mean, I know narcissists do kind of drain you of energy over long periods of time, but this is a feeding. I guess narcissists do as well. They kind of like create this environment where you are constantly fearful, and that they feed on that. Yeah, yeah, exactly the same, I think. Castle, succubus, dragon, and lower energy beings. Yeah, that's well, one or two of the forms anyway. Light fighters then have to run. Okay. have a good week. See you next week, hopefully. It's a pleasure. Can a non-practitioner pick up an astral parasite? Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it starts out as negative energy, and we all have that. We all pick it up every single day. And this is why we do cleansing work and protection work. You know, we wash off. We have a shower or a bath or whatever every day. You know, where we wash ourselves, even if it's just washing your hands and face, to get rid of the physical dirt. But we also get rid of the energetic dirt. That's what cleansing is. And you know, especially somebody like myself or other people here who work with magic on a constant basis, especially if you're working with other people regarding in concern of magic, spell work and things like that on a constant basis, you're going to need to do cleansings often. You know, so but everybody picks up astral parasite. Andrea said, I think so. Yes, yeah. Castor, yes. Devs, if you travel the astral world, you go there when you sleep. Yep, there's also that. We all astral project in our sleep. But a bit like fleas. Yeah, actually, kind of, yeah. The truth, I think I have started to pick up less of that sort of stuff after getting sigils from the Goetia as tattoos. But of course, I might create it negatively for others intentionally or not. You do, as you carry on doing the magical work, you might have like a daily practice where you're doing meditation and keeping your energy levels, energy vibrational states high, all that type of thing. And the more you do work, the more you do magic, you pick up all of these things as you go along, and eventually you don't really think about it that much. I mean, you might find a particular time when all of a sudden you need a bit more of a boost. You know, you'll go and, you know, strengthen your wards or whatever it is, but it becomes a natural thing as well. And it's a progressive thing. You build up more and more and more as you go. So yeah, you know, you're gonna find that it's gonna affect you less and less and less as you build up more wards and more protections and more shields and everything else. Dragon, I do the LBRP. Great method, really is. Really, really good method. Andrea Lee Z Frank recently did a video about how insects use positive and negatively charged particles to help them hitchhike. Cool. Insects are amazing if you think about it. These tiny little creatures that we don't think anything of, but bloody hell. Fucking amazing thing. Because, to be honest, I would say all those Catholic exorcisms are really astral parasites. Yes, I agree, absolutely, completely. I don't believe they are the spirits that they say they are. Another term often used for a lot of astral parasites, especially in this regard, is imposter spirits, because they come along and they say they are the spirit that you were calling, but they're not. They just say they are because, you know, you go, oh, okay, hi, how are you? And you kind of immediately trust it. Don't trust any spirit. You call a spirit, you test it. I don't care what spirit it is or who it is. I don't care if it's a demon, an angel, a god, a goddess, whatever. You test. And they expect you to test it. They have respect for you if you test it. A lot of people come into these paths, and a lot of people come from a Christian background where you do not question your authority. Throw it all out the window. Just take it and throw it out the window. You test the spirits. Left, right, centre. All of them. Doesn't matter. So do we need to do the LBRP to spiritually what? It's one method. When I take my shower every morning, I just do an energetic cleanse after I've done my physical cleaning. You know, that type of thing. You can do I might find that I need to do a bit extra, and I'll do a spiritual bath. Usually with my morning stuff, I also do a banishing, or I don't really want to call it a banishing ritual. It's more of a cleansing ritual, but it's banishing. You banish the negative energy that you've picked up, right? And you can do this at the end of the day. If you know, pick up negative energy during the day, you can just clean it all off at night time. You can use the LBRP. It's a good method. It really is. But there's a lot of other banishing rites that you can use. Some people will say that you shouldn't be doing the LBRP every day because the LBRP and such rituals, the LBRP, the Star Ruby, all of them, they have a particular. It is a particular format which can completely and utterly strip all of the energy out of space, and that's what they're often used for. You strip the energy from the space you're going to be working in when you're doing magic. But personally, I think if you're doing it more for a cleansing, you kind of just removing the negative energy from you and pushing that away, elevating your own vibrational state so that the lower vibrational energy cannot stick to you anymore. That's really what you're doing. You're just elevating your vibrational state. And you can use a lot of different other methods for that. But yeah. Andrea Castle, you will know about using feathers to help clean the auric field. Buddy Walker, today I saw an old documentary from India. It was about a sadhu who lived in a cave somewhere by a river, and in addition to a swastika above the entrance, it had a pentagram with 2 arms raised. Is this symbol associated with Satanism, also as old as the swastika? Well, the swastika and the pentagram are not satanic, and they are not Nazi. Well, they decided to take them and skew them and screw around with them and make them something different. But these are ancient symbols, both of them. Pentagrams were written on cave walls as, before, when we were doing dots and dashes on cave walls, pentagrams were found. And the swastika is an ancient symbol from all over the world. You find it in Hindu practice, you find it in Chinese, you find it as the sun wheel or the filthot within European traditions. It's everywhere, and it's ancient, Unfortunately, some assholes came along and decided to fuck everything up for everybody else. As they always do. But yeah. And yeah, they can also tell if a flower has been visited by another insect. Yeah, but it's when the insects pee on the flower. Mark their territory. Dragon, how does one test the spirit? Alright, so I actually did a video on this. This was actually based on somebody's book a long time ago. Hang on, let me see if I can find it again. Go watch that because it actually takes you through steps. It was really, really good explanation. So I took the steps from the book and I kind of put it into a video. I'll post that now. But your basic thing is you question them. You ask them questions about who they are, who their affiliations are, what they've accomplished, who their mother and father was, all of that stuff. And what usually happens is, if it's an astral parasite, they will go, "Do not question me. I am more powerful than you." And then you tell them, "Fuck you. You're not. Go away. Piss off." An actual spirit won't. An actual spirit expects to be questioned, expects to be tested. So just bear that in mind. Here we go. Right, here we go. It's in the chat. Go watch that. Step-by-step guide. It really was a good explanation. So yes, Andrea, I use vulture feather and great grandfather coyote to help me. Over Mordecai, but it's about a pentagram with 2 arms up. Yeah. Look on Greek, ancient Greek coins. You'll find the inverted pentagram there. It's got nothing to do with Satanism. And the inverted pentagram was used in Wicca as initiation into the 2nd degree. It's got nothing to do with Satanism. I mean, a lot of the symbols you find in Satanism, especially if you go down the route of Anton LaVey and LaVeyan Satanism and non-theistic Satanism, all of that stuff. A lot of the symbols they use are not satanic anyway. The upside down cross is a Christian symbol. It's not a satanic symbol. It's the cross of Paul or Peter. Wait, one of the P's in the Bible, but it's a Christian symbol. It's not satanic at all, which I find quite funny. Oh, it's St. Peter's cross. There you go, the inverted cross. Because he refused to be crucified in the same manner as Christ, so they put his cross upside down and he was crucified upside down. That's the story. But yeah, definitely not satanic. Oh, I've lost my place again. Andrea Badimorka, just managed to read your full comment. Sorry about that. The cracked screen making it difficult to read as well as type. That's fine, don't worry. Casoy, Sage Tobacco, and Palo Santo Mix. Andrea, support you. Always offer tobacco to the spirits. Castle, my Trunapa has helped me also communicate with spirits and pass them over and help heal and cleanse homes and places and ask the house spirits what the people said to honor them. There you go. Right, I think I'm going to draw today to an end. I'm going to go and get some sleep. Be fresh for the new week. Everybody else, it's a good week. It's December already. End of the bloody year. No. Crept up on us quickly. A bit envious about the vulture feather. Yeah. Difficult to get those things. Good night. Good night, Dragon. Have a good one. Have a good week. That's all. Blessed be all. May the goddess and gods watch over all and protect and guide. You too. Have a good one. Good night, Des. Good night, Bovie Mordecai. And good night, everybody. Yep, I'm going to go. And have a good one. See you next week. Hopefully there won't be any electricity problems or anything like that.